All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest, oldest, and most difficult questions that people have ever asked. It's a question that sits right at the intersection of science, faith, and our gut feeling about what's fair. So let's get straight to it. And there it is. That's the question, right? I mean, we look around and see this incredible order everywhere. Planets spinning in perfect orbits, the unbelievably complex dance of our own cells. So why does that same orderly universe allow for such heartbreaking random pain? It's a question that really shakes you.
And this is where it gets so incredibly difficult to wrap your head around. On the one hand, you have this beautiful, intricate system. I mean, the laws of physics are so reliable we can predict an eclipse hundreds of years from now. But on the other hand, you have this brutal, random suffering that seems to make a mockery of all that order. How can both of these things be true at the same time?
Okay, so to even begin to get a handle on this, we've got to zoom way in. We need to go from the scale of the cosmos down to the microscopic and look at the actual scientific engine that drives, well, both the beauty of life and its tragedies.
So everything really hinges on this one key idea: genetic mutation. Just think of DNA as the ultimate cookbook, the instruction manual for building a living thing. A mutation is really just a permanent change in that recipe. You could call it a typo. And sometimes those typos don't matter at all, sometimes they actually make the recipe better, and sometimes they're just devastating. So, where do these typos even come from? Well, it boils down to two main things. First, you've got simple copying errors. Your body is making billions of new cells, and every time it has to copy this gigantic DNA instruction book. It's amazingly accurate, but it's not perfect. Mistakes happen. And second, there are environmental factors. Things out in the world, like radiation from the sun, can actually hit the DNA molecule and damage it, causing a mutation. Now, this leads to an idea that feels wrong at first. It's so tempting to wish for a system that was absolutely perfect. No mistakes, no randomness, no typos. But the thing is, a universe without those mistakes would also be a universe without change, without evolution, without adaptation. It would be sterile, lifeless. And here's the absolute kicker. The very same mechanism of mutation is the engine of creation. It's what creates all the incredible diversity of life on Earth. It's what allows species to adapt and survive when their environment changes. There are even famous examples, like a specific mutation that actually makes people resistant to HIV, or the sickle cell trait, which is a serious condition, but also happens to protect people from malaria. The tool for tragedy is the exact same tool for survival. They are inseparable.
Okay, so we've got the science down. We understand the how. But let's be real, knowing how it happens doesn't make the suffering any less painful. And this is where we have to shift our focus. We need to move from the world of pure science into the world of human ethics. How do we respond to this reality?
We have got to separate two totally different things here. On one side, you have nature, and the laws of nature are completely amoral. They don't have feelings or intentions. A hurricane isn't evil. It's just a weather system. But then you have us. We are moral creatures. We're the ones who look at the outcome of these neutral, natural processes, and we assign value to them. We see pain, and we feel compassion. We see unfairness, and we invent the idea of justice.
And this quote from the analysis by Dr. Najma just nails it. It reframes the whole thing. What if suffering isn't a glitch, not a bug in the code, but a built-in possibility of a system that's designed to be creative and dynamic? The pain is absolutely real, no question. But maybe it's not a sign that the universe is broken. Maybe it's a sign that the universe is capable of creating anything at all, including us.
And this is where we really see humanity at its best. We take our scientific understanding of these cold, indifferent natural laws, and we turn that knowledge into an act of compassion. We use our understanding of genetics to develop prenatal diagnoses. We use biology to create gene therapies to literally fix the typos at their source. With every one of these breakthroughs, we are imposing our own human moral order onto the randomness of nature.
Now, let's switch gears a little bit and explore another way of looking at this. A framework that comes from a religious perspective, which argues that the point isn't blame, it's responsibility. You see, this perspective completely flips the script. It suggests that asking why wasn't the world made perfect is kind of missing the whole point. The argument here is that blaming a higher power for how natural laws work is basically just a way to avoid the actual job given to humanity, to get our hands dirty and engage with the world exactly as it is.
And the core concept here is this idea of khalifa. It's an Arabic word that's often translated as steward or maybe even caretaker.
And what it means is that our role here isn't to be passive victims of what happens. It's to be active agents, given the tools, our minds, our science, our compassion, to actually manage, improve, and care for this world. And you can see this idea has deep roots, like in this verse from the Quran. That key phrase, successive authority or khalifa, isn't about just sitting back and being in charge. It implies a kind of delegated authority. And with that authority comes this huge, profound responsibility to actually do something, to build, to fix, to improve.
So when you look at it this way, life isn't a promise of comfort. It's presented more as a test. Not a test of how much you can endure, but a test of what you do, a test of your actions. The challenges and the suffering that are just part of the world, they become the arena where our good deeds, our compassion, and how we use our knowledge are actually measured. The focus completely shifts from what happens to us to what we choose to do about it.
Okay, so let's try to pull all of these threads together. We've looked at the hard science, we've touched on philosophy, and we've explored a religious framework. So how does all this help us reframe that original, painful question we started with?
I think this analogy from the source material just paints the perfect picture. Think of existence like a stage play. Step 1. You've got the stage itself and the rules of the play. That's the laws of physics and genetics. Step 2. You've got a wild card player, which is just pure chance, random mutations. Step 3. Sometimes the interplay between the rules and the random player leads to a tragic outcome, suffering. But then there's Step 4, the conscious observer. That's us. We're the unique character in this play that feels the pain, understands the rules, and can actually get on stage and try to rewrite the script.
So when you boil it all down, the scientific analysis leads us to this really stark, unavoidable conclusion. You just can't have the creative engine that makes all of life's diversity and wonder possible without also having the possibility of suffering. They are two sides of the very same coin.
And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? We began by asking why. Why does this orderly universe let this happen? It feels like a question demanding an answer from some cosmic manager.
But after walking through all of this, maybe we've been asking the wrong question the whole time. Perhaps the most important question isn't one we shout out at the universe. Perhaps it's one we have to ask ourselves. Given the reality of how life works, with all of its creativity and all of its cruelty, the ultimate question isn't why. The ultimate question is, what now? What will we choose to do with our knowledge, our empathy, and our power to make things better? That right there is the question that truly defines who we are.